Morning, sweeties. I'm Eric Arias, and well, I'm back earlier than I thought I would be. But oh well, it is what it is. Let's talk about the Genesys Pointlist update. It's so weird to not call it a ban list, but it is not a ban list. So oh well. And this is a really big one for the meta. They hit a lot of powerful decks, which I'm not really that interested in outside of Vanquish Soul and Odeon exactly, because those matchups are pretty miserable. I've looked at the entire list. I've developed some thoughts for once, yeah, Aria's brain cells are finally working for once. That's a miracle. And well, as you can see right here, Earthbound got hit. I don't know how to feel about this. On one hand, we're good enough to be hit, and on the other hand, we weren't hit because of us. We were hit because of FTKs. And the context behind this is just Aslla Piscu and the Black Garden were both hit at 51. And well, this is a really big hit. Both of these cards are really big hits for us, even outside of the FTK. The FTK isn't even the main thing you're playing Piscu and Garden together for. That is the funny part. Okay, so let me run through why these hits are really big for us. Okay, so let's talk about Piscu first. Piscu is the cornerstone of Blind Second. Yeah, I picked the correct list. It's the cornerstone of Blind Second Earthbound. It is so important to the strategy. I can't even describe it. Basically, if you have seen my tournament run video, my first video on Genesys, you could see that the entire strategy was just summon Piscu, trigger it 2 times, and it wins the game. It's so integral to the strategy as a whole because, well, it's just a reliable way to clear boards and to have a win condition, to just have more disruption. Since this is a blind second deck that doesn't necessarily want to kill. Sorry, it wants to kill, but not necessarily it can get to the kill. So Piscu on turn 3 after your opponent has done some recovery plays is just massive. Thanks motorcycles outside my house. I swear to God. So Piscu being hit here is just so big for the strategy because you're losing out on non-engine, you're losing out on well, you're losing out on a lot of things. You're losing out on Guardian Chimera as well if you want non-engine. And Guardian Chimera is essential. Everything here is so essential to the strategy that it's hard to imagine Blind Second being that good even after Nibiru is at 5 points. You could remove some of these, that's not enough. Minus 15, I know how math works. That's 63. You gotta either give up one or the other, really. Yeah, this is the only way you can get to play 1 Piscu, not even 2. You only get to play 1, and I honestly feel like this is mandatory. This 1 Piscu is just that important to the strategy. And it's also upsetting because you can't use Nova to summon Piscu by sending Piscu, which is also really rough. I suppose you can summon Kraken, but it's just slightly worse than Piscu because you can't trigger it yourself whenever you feel like it. Outside of this, Piscu is just overall a really strong utility card. It can be used in any variant to clear boards when necessary and to deal the final bit of burn damage. It's less important in other variants as a utility tool because in Blind Second, it's literally your entire game plan. Your entire game plan is Piscu Turbo, and in other variants, Piscu is just a get out of jail, not really free, get out of jail at a discount card, pretty much. You're sacrificing some of your board to have Piscu clear out the board for you, which is really nice. It forces out stuff. If they don't expect it, even better. And it's just so awkward at 51 points, especially for other variants that need points, like for example Red Juggernaut Fiend, Chimera, or just Pure really wants its non-engine. So yeah, Pisco is a really big hit, and the Black Garden is also a really big hit. And not because of the FTK. The FTK is literally the last thing you need to worry about, for us at least. Like some crackhead might be playing Pisco FTK without Earthbounds, even with Earthbounds or whatever. But like, it's not that great because you really don't have a great plan into a lot of things, and it's even worse going second, and I just don't care about it, frankly. The main use of Black Garden is to revive Walker or to lock your opponent by summoning 5 guys onto the opponent's board and putting everything in defense. Everything you have in defense. And if they try to get rid of the tokens, you can use Griffin to revive Keeper into Walker. And this is not that big of a deal, honestly. Black Garden isn't the be-all end-all of Earthbound end boards. It's just a really good tool to annoy your opponent and to make them not play the game, which is really nasty, so I'm fine with this. Although I really wish that they did what they did instead was putting Black Garden at 100 and putting Piscu at 1, or maybe 80, 80, 21, 90, 11, you know, one of these combinations so that they can't play them with each other, but just allows Piscu to be played in Earthbound outside of an FTK. It's just really upsetting to me, because like, well, Piscu is such a big cornerstone of Earthbound in Genesys. It's just kinda sad to see it leave, very much. You can't play it in anything anymore. But it is what it is. They wanted to balance an FTK, and they didn't really see that, they probably don't know that Piscu is that relevant to Earthbound itself, especially outside of the FTK, because the FTK, I forgot to mention this earlier, but it needs a specific set of tools to function. Like, you need to play a lot of weird extenders, like especially level 4s. You need level 4 extenders, which is just awkward to deal with for an Earthbound build. That's also trying to go first to FTK. It's just awkward, I feel. Okay, outside of Piscu, which was the main bulk of the video, really, there's a decent amount of cards that interest us, but not too many that are that relevant. There is one that is super relevant, but we'll get there when we get there. A lot of staples have been buffed and nerfed. Flying Sea and Retaliating Sea and Impulse have been nerfed by a couple of points. And I don't understand why Flying Sea and half, maybe, I guess, Retaliating. Like, Flying Sea is just a full lockdown. I don't get it. Even if we're not playing an Xyz deck, it's just so weird that a Floodgate that can be used on the opponent's turn directly is just free. A lot of decks do have an out to Flying Sea, but yeah, it's just weird to see a Floodgate like this one stick around. A Shifter doesn't matter that much because the decks it is played in are weak right now, but just a bad ticking time bomb, honestly. Shifter and Flying Sea should not exist in a format like this. Ogre, Moonlit Shell, Ghost Mourner, Ghost Ogre, and Nibiru have been buffed by a couple of points. Nibiru is the big one that scares me, because whilst it is good for Earthbound to have an additional blowout hand trap, it is also really big that we are gonna be on the receiving end of Nibiru a lot, because most Earthbound builds do get hit pretty badly by Nibiru. Chimera isn't one of them. Chaos Ruler or Lure Queen, funnily enough, although that build is bad, it at least doesn't die to Nibiru. It's an awkward one to judge, but Nibiru overall is a pretty big game changer against us, not for us. And also the two hand traps are pretty decent. It just depends on how many slots you actually can afford to play them. Then we have Habakir is funny, I suppose. They just completely destroyed the Mitsurugi and also put Senju and Manju at one point. And Ritual / Prayers are just unplayable alongside Habakiri. I just think that's really funny. Mitsurugi already was a mediocre engine and constructed. It made really strong boards, but it just doesn't have the slots for hand traps, which is pretty rough. But here it's even worse, and now it's worse-er than it was before. For us, it's not too big of a deal, but for actual Mitsurugi decks, this is really big, and it is really funny. Like, the deck is beyond unplayable now. What do we have next? I suppose Kaliga can be considered relevant, because you can make it off Muddy, but like literally just play Overlord Grapha for Marima Dragon. And Granguignol is a hit, I suppose. We can use it with the Alba Synchro, which is coming in a while. It's gonna be coming a pretty long time. Granguignol is decent to send Nova, to send Malong. It's fine. I honestly feel like the Alba Synchro is gonna be really strong in Genesis. So Granguignol is fair enough as a hit. Then again, this was meant for Brandon, I get it. But like, I wanna talk about this in the context of Earthbound, and this is fine. It's not that big of a deal, even when we are eventually gonna be getting the Earthbound, the Alba Synchro. Next, we have Baron de Fleur. 5 points isn't changing anything. The main big problem here is just Baron cannot be played alongside Asmin LZ. You can play it alongside the Bramble Rose package, which is fine, but just Baron is still not worth it, I feel like. Unless I figure something out that's not half bad with Baron, because Baron is such a strong card. If Baron were 70 points, I would play it if it were 70 points, but then it might be a little too good. I don't know. I feel like it's fine at 70. Yeah. But for now, we're just gonna need to wait for more developments. Since Baron is still not that great for us, you'd rather play additional non-engine than this. Oh yeah, you can't even play it with Glow Up Bulb, now that I think about it. So like, you can't even play it with Hatro's Witch. Yeah, Baron is just so awkward to fit into decks and such because of non-engine, because of the engines that enable it to be enable Earthbound to be slightly more consistent just don't work with Baron. Yeah, it's really rough. Bramble here is a non-hit. It's literally just for Beetles. They hit every single taxation card. I feel like that's really funny, but it doesn't change much for us. Like, you can still play the Hater's Witch package. Funnily enough, like, this does make the Hater's Witch package the same amount of points as the White Forest package, which is Asmin LZ plus everything else. It's the same amount of points because Glow Up Bulb is 21. Now here is a huge hit. Hot Red Abyss. There isn't much to say here. It's just a decent card in a lot of Earthbound builds and a great card in others. It's a big hit to the Resurgent Archfiend variant. It's a really big hit for Pure, because that doesn't have that many good Ember pieces. It can go into Krako, Kraken, it's just fine. But with the loss of Piscu and hitting off Hot Red, it's pretty rough for Pure. it's also good, big for Red Dragon Archfiend, but I've been playing the Red Dragon Archfiend build, which by the way I'm gonna be making a video on. This shouldn't be here, first of all. Red Rain, there we go. Like, I'm gonna be making a video on this, and I honestly feel like I'm gonna be cutting Asmina LZ for, to fit the new cost of Abyss. That also gives me an additional 5 points, which I could spend on one Nibiru. Yay! That is awesome. This is a really big hit for Pure, pretty much. Like, yeah. You don't have that many other win conditions. This is pretty big. And it's also a death sentence for the Chaos Ruler variant. You just lose another one of your win cons. And it's even worse for the Calamity variant because this is at 20 and this is now at 21, as you can see right here. It's at 21 because they're trying to make Crimson Dragon maybe viable, but like at 80 points no one is playing it. Like, come on. So like that doesn't matter too much except for the decks that are already making King Calamity. This is basically a death sentence for non-engine's sake and Asmin Alzat, which means you need to give up Chaos Ruler. I still feel like it works fine enough because Chaos Ruler, as I said in my previous video, is just not that important for this combo specifically. In fact, it sometimes screws you over by milling Dandelion too early. I feel like it's fine for this build, it doesn't matter that much. But Abyss is still a huge hit. Ouch. It is a big, like both pure variants got hit by strays so bad. First by Piscu being involved in an FTK that no one plays, but like I suppose they're trying to hit all FTKs except they hit this one. Not that great in my opinion, just because they weren't considerate of Earthbound, but like it's fine, it's not that, it's like, yeah, of course they wouldn't care about a deck that's super niche. Like if I topped a Genesys YCS, then maybe they would have cared, but like I'm a child and I can't really travel for a YCS, you know, so like unless they do it in my city in Italy, or maybe even like slightly below, like a couple of hours on the train, I would be able to partake in it and be able to like maybe I don't know, maybe act cool and hopefully try to convince them, but that Piscu hit wasn't great. But like history is now in the past. They did what they did. It's fine, it's not the end of the world. Both pure variants are gonna suffer, but it's but like you move on. It's just, it is what it is. What is a big deal though for Blind Second is just how much back row removal is now back. With Duster, Heavy Storm, and Lightning Storm, you can play free Lightning Storm literally just now. This variant, send these into the sun. Honestly, like, just give up on Piscu. You can just play this. Lightning Storm. You can play free Lightning Storm. And I suppose you're gonna be playing Uru. Yeah, playing one Uru, one Chaku. I guess, yeah, no, you're playing V's. You're playing a third of this Bucko. Maybe, I don't know, maybe a third Chimera Fusion. And perhaps Garbo Lord? Yeah, this, I'm gonna keep it right here. Let's just back to this. This is a really big hit to Odeon, indirect, but like they know that Odeon is not the funnest thing to face, really. So like it is nice to have these hits because Odeon is a really hard matchup for us also. because you just literally have zero way into back row outside of exactly Croco Dragon and Hot Red. And yeah, literally not Levilazable, Juraishin doesn't do anything. Grasha is hard to set up into this. Chimera is your best bet, but like they're likely gonna be negating it. So something to bait out back row that forces it out is pretty nice. Metamorphosis is fun, but like it's just not good enough, even with the point decrease, because I wish Evil. Yeah, Infernoid Evil. This card, if it was on Special Summon add a Void card, it would be really strong in Earthbound. Metamorphosis, that is. You could go Keeper, get Impermed, use Metamorphosis to make this into Void Infernoid Evil, then use Evil to grab Void Apocalypse. Yeah, Void Apocalypse, and then you can grab a Booyah for pretty much free. I guess you could play Gazelle. You could play Gazelle, I suppose. It's rough. I'm gonna be figuring this out soon enough, I suppose. Not much else, honestly. Extravagance is a hit that like everyone saw coming, but like finally we're free from Extravagance. Like this should not have been 0 points ever. Like Desires, Duality, and Greed were mega hit, but like Extravagance wasn't. And like that was really stupid. So like I'm glad they finally hit it. Outside of these, Fallen and the Virtuous. I thought this would be so cool in Genesis for us to play. But like I guess they wanted to rework Branded. As you can see here, like they dropped the points on Mirror Jade and Lubalian and increased literally everything else in the archetype. So like it's fine. I don't know what this does in Branded, but like it does hurt Goofy plays. It's not that big of a deal, but like I wanted to play this. I'm sad. And lastly, for hits to us, well, not direct, but like indirect, like you get what I mean. We have Dragon's Mind, Iron Thunder, and Scolding. These two are just generic, and Dragon's Mind matters for exactly Griffin, because Griffin is the card you summon most when playing Earthbound. So like, yeah, it is really relevant. I don't care about this that much, honestly. Boards are decent. You can play Fiendish Golem as your Dark Ruler No More out. And this is searchable, unlike Dragon's Mind, which needs to be played alongside Foolish Burial Goods at minimum to be searchable. And even then, that's just 6 copies of the card, so it's pretty niche. And it's not great into hand traps, on a Golem which is mediocre into hand traps at worst. And also, I've never seen this card. Grizz. What is this? If you control a face-up that was ritual or fusion summoned, neither player can synchro fusion summon. I see. And this is just a stinky floodgate, whatever. It's a 10 only. I'm not gonna be doing funny stuff with this, I think. Oh yeah. This build I'm gonna be exploring in probably my next video. I'm still testing a lot with this. This was where I was talking about Black Garden, since I literally had this one slot dedicated to Black Garden, because you can use the Bellstar Vengeance to summon Reciela using a Black Garden token and then locking your opponent with Black Garden by filling their entire monster zone with the tokens. And then if they try to tribute summon or break through the lock, you use Griffin to revive, so like you don't care. And now I feel like unironically the best blind first field spells are a Summon Limit and where is it? Summon Limit and Dreamland. Dreamland is pretty fun because it can level mod and it can screw over Xyz plays. And also, it can draw your cards, which is really niche, but like, oh well. Yeah, this is pretty much it for the first major point list. They did one emergency point list to do some final changes before we actually had any tournaments, so that didn't really count. That might as well have been the actual original point list. This list is pretty solid for meta. I've seen a decent amount of point hits to meta decks, and there haven't been that many tools for us outside of non-engine, and some really big hits to us, which is pretty rough. I feel mixed about this list. It's clearly a good list for the overall health of the game, but it is so rough to lose Piscu, to lose Hot Red, Abyss, to just... yeah, it's sad to see, but like... it is what it is, they had to do it. It's just... oh yeah, I forgot about Baphomet. Unrelated, but like, I forgot. I think... yeah. There we go. Okay, so that's gonna be the end of the video. See ya on the next one, which is hopefully gonna be the actual Chimera variant. It's not just with the Battlestar Vengeance and such, you can play it without. But that's very likely gonna be my next video. See ya.